Hello students, myself Dr. Rajeshwari HV. This is my third video on the chapter Chemical Energetics and Ionic Equilibrium 1. And in the previous videos, we had understood about the basic terms of thermodynamics. Let us understand some more basic terms of thermodynamics. So in this video, I will be discussing the types of thermodynamic processes. When a thermodynamic system changes from one state to another state, this operation itself is known as a process. Since we are discussing about the types of process, let us know the definition of process here. So, what is a process? When a thermodynamic system changes from one state to another state, the operation is called a process, right? And during that change, there may be absorption of energy or the matter both. So during that change, whenever the system changes from one state to another state, it may be accompanied by energy change, or if the system is an open system, there is a change of matter as well, because we have three types of system, as you know from the previous sessions: open system, closed system and isolated system. In case of open system, the boundary between the system and surrounding will be imaginary, and there is exchange of both energy and matter. So in case of open system, there may be exchange of matter as well. So let us go to the first process. The first process is, among the types of process, the first process is an isothermal process. An isothermal process is a process in which the temperature of the system remains constant. This is the keyword here. T is a constant, and the change in temperature will be exactly 0. Okay, during the process the temperature will remain constant. And few examples are Carnot cycle. We carry out the Carnot cycle at a constant temperature. The boiling water, the water boils at 100 degrees centigrade, which is a constant temperature. Evaporation of water in air also occurs at the constant temperature. So what is an isothermal process? A process in which temperature of the system remains constant. Well students, we have understood that in an isothermal process the temperature remains constant, and isothermal, it is actually derived from the Greek word. Thermal means heat and iso means equal, and temperature is constant. That is why we use the word isothermal here. And why the temperature remains constant in case of isothermal process? Because the transfer of heat into and out of the system happens very slowly, so that the thermal equilibrium is maintained. And that is the reason the temperature of the system remains constant in case of the thermal process. So which can be graphical interpretation of the an isothermal process can be done. Pressure along y-axis and volume along the x-axis. There is a change in only pressure and volume, whereas the temperature remains constant. And we can express this using an ideal gas expression, that is P is equal to nRT by V. So now this is about isothermal process. Now let us go to the adiabatic process. It is a process refers to where no heat is exchanged between the system and the surrounding. If there is no exchange of heat between the system and surrounding, then such a process is known as an adiabatic process, and we say that Q is equal to 0. Q represents the heat and delta Q represents the change in heat. Q is equal to 0 and delta Q is equal to 0. So according to the first law of thermodynamics, the first law of thermodynamics can be mathematically expressed as delta U is equal to Q plus W, and delta U is the change in internal energy, and Q is the heat absorbed by the system, and W is the work done. Since for an adiabatic process Q is equal to 0, we can write the expression delta U is equal to Q plus W as delta U is equal to W, because Q is equal to 0. So we have understood what is an adiabatic process. It is a process in which there is no exchange of heat between the system and the surrounding. Now, the third type of the process is isobaric process. and it is a process in which the pressure of the system remains constant here. So pressure P is constant and change in pressure is equal to 0. And an example for isobaric process is the reaction taking place in an open vessel will be an example for an isobaric process. Now let us move to the fourth process. It is isochoric process. It is a process in which the volume of the system remains constant and V is constant and delta V is equal to 0 for an isochoric process. Now an example for isochoric process is when a gasoline air mixture is burnt in a car's engine, there is increase in temperature and pressure. The volume of the gas remains exactly the same. Okay, this will be an example for isochoric process, and isobaric as well as isochoric process can be graphically represented as given here. Pressure along y-axis and we have volume along the x-axis. We can see here the pressure P1 and P2 are remaining constant here, only the volume is changing, whereas in the isochoric process the volume remaining the same. Vj and V subscript Vi and Vj represents the volumes. The changing the volume remains constant and only the pressure is changing in isochoric process. So what is an isobaric process? Pressure remains constant, and isochoric process volume remains constant. So well, with this we have understood the different types of thermodynamic processes. Now another important term in thermodynamics is we frequently use a state function or state variables. Now, what is a state function or state variables? So one which depends, the property of thermodynamic system which depends only on the present state, either it is initial or the final state, is known as a state function. And state function is determined by the variables such as pressure, temperature, volume and energy. And state function does not depend on the path in which the change is brought about. Remember, state function only depends on the initial state and the final state. It is independent of the path in which the state is reached. Okay. And examples for state functions is internal energy, enthalpy and entropy are the examples for the state functions. Now the next important terms in thermodynamics is we should know what is an exact differential and inexact differentials. So I have given few examples here. Delta U can be integrated between the limits, appropriate units, and it is path independent, but it depends on the initial state and the final state. We can see here internal energy, delta U stands for internal energy. It can be integrated between the appropriate units. So it is final state minus initial state will give delta U, change in internal energy. Even the enthalpy, H stands for enthalpy, which can be integrated between the limits initial and final state. So final state minus initial state will give change in enthalpy. Even the entropy is also state function because it can be integrated between the appropriate units. And such type of functions are known as exact differentials, and it is also known as state functions because it depends on the initial and the final state. Remember, the exact differentials are path independent. It does not depend on the path. It only depends on the initial state and the final state. Okay. Now with this, there are inexact differentials also. Work and heat. W stands for work and Q is heat, are inexact differential because we cannot integrate these functions between the appropriate units, right? So it is independent of the initial state and the final state. It depends on the path. Remember, inexact differential is path dependent, whereas exact differential is path independent. Exact differential depends on initial state and final state, whereas inexact differential does not depends on the initial state and the final state. It is not a state function. So with this, the definitions of exact differential and inexact differential have been stated here. Let us have a look. The exact differential can be integrated between the appropriate units and is path independent. Remember, it is path independent and depends on the present status of the system. So which are the examples for exact differential? Internal energy, then enthalpy, entropy, free energy, all these are exact differentials. Whereas inexact differential, which cannot be integrated between the appropriate units and is path dependent and is independent of the present status of the system. So which are the inexact differentials? Heat and work are the examples for inexact differentials. Now with this, let us understand the concept of internal energy and its significance. Internal energy, as you know, it is represented using the symbol U or E. Okay. And every substance is associated with a definite amount of energy which depends upon the chemical nature as well as temperature, pressure and volume of the system. And this energy is known as internal energy. So I will compare internal energy with that of the pocket money, right? The pocket money, it can be compared with that of the internal energy. So every substance is associated with a definite amount of energy which depends on the chemical nature as well as temperature, pressure and the volume. And the actual volume of internal energy cannot be determined. Remember, the actual value of internal energy cannot be determined. We can only find the change in internal energy in any chemical and physical process, and it is a measurable quantity. Okay, so we cannot find the actual value of internal energy. We can only find the change in internal energy. Definitely it is a physical in any physical process, internal energy is a measurable quantity. Now let us understand the significance of internal energy with the first law of thermodynamics. We know that the first law of thermodynamics can be mathematically expressed as delta U is equal to Q plus or minus W. I have taken plus W here. I'll explain the sign conventions later. If you go back, hope you remember what is first law of thermodynamics. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It is only transformed from one form to another. So, well, W is a work of expansion and compression, then I will write minus P delta V. There is only change in pressure and volume if the work is only expansion or the compression. So, I have substituted the value of W in the first law of thermodynamics. Since delta V is equal to 0. Remember, in any internal energy, okay, so delta V is equal to 0. There will be no change in the volume. So the expression delta U will become equal to Q because the whole term will become 0. W will be 0. So internal energy represents the total heat exchange taking place at constant volume and temperature. So that's why the expression we have equated delta V is equal to 0 because internal energy represents the total heat exchange between the system and surrounding taking place at a constant volume and the temperature. So volume is constant, that's why delta V is equal to 0. Now we have to understand another important terms like what is heat and work. So we know that heat and work is inexact differential because it does not depends on the initial and the final state, it only depends on the path. So these are the two modes. The heat and work are the two modes by which the internal energy of the system can be changed. We can change the internal energy of the system by changing the heat and the work. Now let's define what is a work. A work, when change in the state of the system occurs, energy flows across the boundary. So we know that system and surrounding is separated by the boundary. And if there is any change is occurring in any system, so consider a beaker containing water. So if there is change in that system, then energy flows across the boundary, right? This energy may be referred to as heat or mechanical work. It is expressed using the units ergs, it is in CGS unit, and joules in SI unit system. So 1 joules is equal to 10 raised to 7 ergs is equal to 1 Newton meter is equal to 1 kg per meter square per second square. So well, with this let us understand the sign convention. The sign conventions are most important. Remember, so I have written the first law of thermodynamics here. I said delta U is equal to Q plus or minus W is equal to first law of Q plus or minus W is first law of thermodynamics. Now here W is equal to negative. That means if work done is negative, it is work done by the system. So example, expansion of the gas. So consider a cylinder containing 1 mole of an ideal gas. If the gas expands, then we say the work is done by the system, and we write W as negative. Okay. If W is positive, then we say the work is done on the system. Compression, you can look at the compression, it is work done on the system, then we say W is equal to positive, right? With this, let us know the second important term, that is heat. Heat is another mode of changing the internal energy of the system. So using heat and work, we can change the internal energy of the system. So look at the sign convention here. Q is positive, means heat is absorbed by the system. For any endothermic reaction, we write positive because heat is absorbed by the reaction. Q is negative, heat is liberated. Exothermic reactions, the heat is liberated by the system. So now heat and work can be expressed using the graph, can be represented using the graph. So this one is given for you to understand that Q and W is an inexact differential. It is independent of the initial state and final state. It only depends on the path in which the state have been achieved. So we have a pressure along y-axis and volume along the x-axis. A is initial state and B is the final state. So system can reach from A state to B state using either path 1 or path 2. But Q and W are path dependent functions. So they does not depend on the present status, or that is initial state and the final state. Okay. Remember, Q and W are depends on the path, like path 1 and path 2. It is independent of the initial state and the final state. So with this, we have understood all the basic terminologies in the thermodynamics. Thank you.